everybody, my name's Julian, the lead developer here at Flow Studio. We're the creators of Lens Island, an open world action adventure game, which you can play right now on Steam in early access. And this is every little feature that we're adding to our next update. We have a very big update coming to Lens Island, and I'm going to step you through every single little thing that we're adding. And we also have a special announcement halfway through the video. So let's get into it. Let's start with building. So in this new update, you can build an anvil. But with the anvil, you place an anvil in your house, and that's how you upgrade everything. So every single weapon can be upgraded. You can upgrade your tools, and that's including stuff like scythes, watering cans, torches, and also armor. So there is like all these collectible sets of armor that have different abilities, but you can upgrade all of them. So all bits of armor in the game, the sort of the consistency that they share is their like level coincides with the amount of armor that they block. But we have a whole armor section, so we'll talk more about that afterwards. Okay, armor stand. So you can build an armor stand in your house. So that is like a typical like little wooden pole stand. So easy way to like equip and like also show off all your cool armor and outfits. So talking about armor, the cosmetic armor, we're calling them outfits. Seed storage. All of your different seeds you can store directly in the seed storage. Looks cool. You can build them like near your farms and just sort of like a bit of added decoration as well as utility. Small storage box. So you unlock this right at the start of the game when you get your first workbench level. I think it's like 5 or 6 slots that it has. It's really cheap to build and you can store any resource in the game. So there is a new pantry that you can build, and you can store every single kind of food in the game in your pantry. This is an interesting one. So this is one that I've been wanting to work on for a little while now. I basically want to make all constructs, all decoration items in general, easy to place, more flexible. So I'm basically going to make stuff across Lens Island a lot more like free to place. So you can place stuff inside of each other and you could just basically be a bit more creative. Workbench has been completely overhauled and remade. You only learn building and decoration and storage and like construction items from a workbench now. You don't learn any weapons or anything else, and the whole UI for it, all of the different workbench levels, all the different costs, everything completely redone, completely rebalanced. Okay, this also follows on from our vote for your ideas category. So these are the next 3 decoration items that are going to be the next update. There's going to be wall lamps. You'll be able to place, I'll try and add more than one, fish tanks or aquariums. This was a very requested decoration item. So there'll be a small aquarium that's more like akin to like a fish bowl, and you'll only be able to store bluegills and sardines, and then you'll actually see the fish like inside the fish bowl. But then you can get like a large aquarium that you can place like up against a wall. The large aquariums cost tons of glass, so you're going to have to be grinding out that limestone refinery build. Next thing, paintings. So basically be some cool little decoration paintings, just to like a little bit of life inside your house. All right, there's been some big combat changes. Every single weapon in Lens Island has brand new abilities. Now it's like abilities are much more prominent. They do more damage, a lot more like useful, and generally the abilities do more knockback. They have like cooler effects. The animations are completely redone. And the second part of this is it is way easier to hit crits now. What we've done is we've made them all consistent for every single weapon. Next thing, updated weapon pop-up UI. So now the weapons show you like all the little nitty-gritty details, and you can make like much better like educated decisions on all the weapons. There's sort of like 4 really big things in this update. Enchanting is one of them. Before we get into enchanting, I'd like to announce that we just launched a Patreon. This is a way that you can actually get early access to alpha and beta testing builds of Lens Island. You can join an exclusive dev chat just with me and the other devs, and you can have conversations one-on-one with us developers and actually share all of your thoughts and opinions. So there is a limited amount of slots for these early build access tiers on Patreon, but this is a way that you can help support the studio, but also really help us mold the game into what you would like it to be and be a lot closer to development if that's what you're interested in. So if you'd like some early builds, there is an alpha build of Lens Island up right now. You can literally play half the stuff in this update that we're talking about in this video right now. You literally just have to sign up to the Council of LAN alpha testing builds, and then you get access. So if that's something you're interested in, go check it out. And of course, thank you to all of our current Patreon supporters that have already been supporting us over the past week or 2. We're gonna shout you out in every single video to show our love back to you. So what is enchanting? We have the enchantment table. You can build an enchantment table in your house. Pretty much anything that you can equip can be enchanted. You can enchant a sword, a hammer, a shield, an axe, a pickaxe. You can enchant armor as well. I'm gonna step through some of the enchantments now. All these enchanting, this works through runes. So like a bunch of the runes you'll get sort of for free when you first build an enchantment table. But some of the runes you actually have to buy from the druid and from the sorcerer. So we've got electrify. This is basically like chain lightning. So you like put chain lightning on anything, and if you hit something, there is like a percentage chance that you proc chain lightning. Next one, burning. So we've actually added fire propagation inside of Lens Island. Len can get burnt, enemies can get burnt, enemies can go into another enemy and make that other enemy get burnt. Holographic is an enchantment that makes anything, including like a pickaxe or a scythe, health or a tool as well, it basically scales it up as you do your attack. So if I have like a sword, every time I swipe my sword, my whole sword expands and becomes like double the size. So it increases your reach and like basically the hitbox of any weapon. Lifesteal, pretty straightforward. You can steal life from enemies. Weighted basically makes any weapon in the game's attack speed slower, but raises its damage. We also have the opposite of weighted, swiftness. So this raises the attack speed. It makes any weapon in the game quicker, but lowers its damage slightly. Detonate, this is basically when an enemy dies, it has a percentage chance to blow up. If one detonates, it could be enough to set off a big chain reaction to make every single enemy in that room blow up. Smite, so this is like you basically build up stacks of like electricity above an enemy. Imagine like every 2 seconds, there's sort of like a tick of smite, and if you hit the enemy within that, it'll just keep adding to the stacks, and the more stacks of smite you have, the more damage. And then illuminate, you can basically enchant anything to glow in the dark with a light. Armor doesn't just block damage. Every piece of armor in Lens Island also has like unique effects tied to them. These are all weapon enchantments that I've got listed here. The armor enchantments will be different. But imagine you could have like a sword, and then you could enchant that sword, and then you could have a shield, and then you could enchant that shield, and then you could wear armor, and then all the armor has unique effects, and then you could enchant all that armor and get even more unique effects, and then upgrade all that stuff. We've got leather armor, knight's armor, druid armor, spiked armor. We have Viking armor. Viking armor looks so cool, by the way. So cool. Ancient armor, wrecked armor. This is like shipwrecked armor. We have a farmer outfit. We are adding a fishing outfit, a sorcerer's outfit, an adventurer outfit. The adventurer outfit actually won the vote in our last video to add a new outfit to the game. So all of these will all be in the next update. Survival. This is one that probably a bunch of people are not expecting, but this is basically us starting to tweak and balance and change the survival mechanics. Don't get too scared if you're more of like a pacifist player. If you can wear all this crazy armor, there needs to be something to balance it out, right? All of like the basic foods in Lens Island, like vegetables and fruits and stuff that aren't cooked, won't really replenish any health. They'll replenish hunger, and then you'll heal when you have full hunger. You're gonna have to get into the cooking and like the potion making in order to start to get foods that actually give you like health and hearts. Getting hit by trees and just generally falling off ledges in Lens Island does more damage. So if a tree falls on your head, it will do more damage than what it did before. If you fall off the edge of the dungeons, it will do a bit more damage than before. Enemies do slightly more damage. This is because you have slightly more health because of all the armor. If you're finding yourself die a lot, if you suck at fighting, that's okay, because the game's not just like way harder and you just have to deal with it. You can use farming and fishing and building and like sort of gaining, money through not dungeon crawling, through other means. You can use that to your advantage a lot more now than what you could before. Next thing, you start with a bit lower health. Again, this is just offsetting the fact that we give you way more health for the armor. We have to offset it somehow. Starving will take you down to 5 health. I believe starving from hunger before took you down to around 50 health, like half. So you'll almost die if you don't eat. Inventory starts at 50 slots. You will still be able to upgrade it, and you will still be able to get to more slots. You will drop your entire backpack when you die. There's a whole bunch of new places to store your items, because now when you die, you drop them all on the ground. So you have to be a little bit more careful. The game generally is becoming a bit more higher consequences for your actions, basically. Let's talk about farming and miscellaneous. So the skill tree is in general going to be much larger than the skill tree was previously, and you're going to step through it a fair bit slower. Trees knock down other trees, including fruit trees. Crops can now die if not watered for a couple of days. So I said we're adding some more consequences to the game, and this sort of goes for a lot of areas of the game, including farming. However, you get fibers from dead crops. So this is actually technically a way to make fiber farms in the game now. You can now have big mushroom farms, and the mushrooms only grow in the dungeons. Trees regrow much slower. So previously, this was like a subtle annoyance of mine for a long time. You have a nice house, and then a tree just like constantly keeps growing in like front of your vision all the time in front of your house, and you're constantly, every single day, it feels like you're chopping down that tree. So now the trees regrow a lot slower. However, you can go up to any tree in the game and water it with a watering can, and a little sapling will grow out of the stump, and then the next day that tree will regrow again. We merged the WASD and mouse controls. You can basically use WASD to move while also using your mouth at the same time, and the ability keys are all just shifted over one. Cursed dungeons. So this is 3 out of 4 of the big, new, important features in this new update. What is Cursed Dungeons? You can basically play through the entire game all over again in a much more difficult mode now. Whether it's one of like the Keystone dungeons, whether it's one of like the large boss room dungeons, all of them can be cursed. you get unique armor, unique rewards. It's a way to get like basically a bunch of gold, a whole bunch of lightstone, a whole bunch of stuff. The cursed boss fight of the Void Boar is 2 Void Boars. You have to fight 2 Void Boars at the same time in order to complete the cursed boss fight for the Void Boar. And then the cursed boss fight for the Void Troll is basically an adaptation of the Void Troll. There is also an elite version of the dozers in the game that spit out lava. Procedural caves. I know this isn't many points, but there is actually so much new stuff with the procedural caves. Huge new procedural cave system. Almost every island in the whole game has a mine entrance, and that basically leads down to a procedural cave network. So there is a huge procedural cave network that is basically mirroring the above world to the below world, with all these caves that interlink all the islands. The dungeons are relatively exclusively for fighting enemies now, and the procedural caves are where you get to do all your mining. It's easy to sort of undersell this, but like this is so much content. Like we've been working on this for months. This is just one tiny little point on this board. The town's reworked, but this is a really big deal. So Bridgewater, flattened. Bridgewater's gone. Hurricane swept through, it's gone. And it has been redistributed to all around the world. There will be 3 towns all spread across the world. So the main spawn island will have a town, the main Dark Forest Island with the dungeon entrance, that will have a town, and then the main desert island with a dungeon entrance, that will also have a town. You'll be able to trade different types of resources across a town. So maybe one town will sell certain flowers and certain resources that another town won't. You won't be able to upgrade the towns anymore. You'll get free access to everything right from the get-go. And we've also removed all the buy and sell limits. So you can just freely trade with everyone now and not have to worry about that. And then we're going to be adding back in like the upgrading and stuff in a different way in the future. This was another vote that we did on our last video. We asked basically which new animal do you want to add into the Lens Island? Deer won. There was a choice between goats, sheep, and deer. The very first one that we're going to be adding is deer. There will basically be little packs of deer spawning around the forests in Lens Island. You'll be able to hunt deer and actually get hide and meat from them. You got to cook the meat and make stews and stuff like that. And then you actually need the hide for various little crafting recipes around the game. The player model has been completely remade. The whole player model is basically like HD. The masculine and feminine versions of land is like a little bit more suited to what they should be. Clothing now looks way cooler, but I also built a clothing system that enables community-made clothing. In like a smaller update, we're going to be basically enabling the community workshop and accepting submissions for like custom clothes. And one significant change to do with the weather is during storms, there's actual like lightning strikes. So lightning strikes can actually like strike the ground, your house. They will like make trees catch on fire and fall down if the lightning strikes them. They can strike you. And there's also a brand new like status effect system. So if you're swimming through water, you'll have like the wet status effect and the player will be wet. And anytime that you're wet, you'll be way more prone to lightning strikes. Like this is like a big update, right? This is a massive update. The update after this one will be what we call the Act 4 update. And that is the 4th act being added to Lens Island. And what that means is a whole new set of islands, a whole new set of biomes, a whole new set of dungeons, a brand new boss fight, expansion to procedural caves, a brand new tier of weapons, a lot of new stuff coming. It is very exciting stuff.